Hello students, welcome back to NEET World channel. This is Narayani, I am your botany educator. So in previous class we started the chapter of mineral nutrition. So let's start the remaining part of the mineral nutrition. And see the first we recall is the yesterday's topic. So we discussed till, yes. So before I am going to start the session students, I would like to inform very important news for you all of you. So we started the NEET special program at just affordable price of rupees 3,333 per month. Yes, if you are really passionate about your dream, this is the best opportunity for you. So there are very limited seats are available. Grab this opportunity. What are the benefits by joining in this special program is you got live plus recording classes with well crafted study materials also provided. If you really determined, dedicatedly prepared with us by listening the live plus recording classes, if itself you did the well crafted study material is far more enough to secure a very good rank in your upcoming NEET and AP set examinations. If you want offline, so it is available both offline as well as online also. For online, we will give you access in our app name called NEET World, and if you want to offline, you can come to our institute name called NEET World, present in Narayani Ma'am, Hyderabad. And one more important news students, this is our telegram group. By scanning this QR code you can access our telegram channel. So in this channel you are going to have all the handwritten notes, digitalized materials, and also we informing the live informing the live classes, information given here, so thereby you can join on time. And also we are providing daily quiz of biology, physics, chemistry and also mathematics. And mainly if you have any doubts, please drop there your doubt with concerned faculty. They will clear you all your doubts. So if you have any further queries, can reach out by this number. Okay. So let's start today's session students. So we discussed about the mineral nutrition. So what is the technique that plants grow in the free of soil, which means plants grow in the nutrient solution. What is the technique called as? That is hydroponics. First who coined the, first who given the experiment? By the German botanist name called Julius von Sakis. Julius von Sakis. So the technique is called as hydroponics technique. See, the technique is growing in nutrient solution. Now it is a free from soil. That technique is hydroponics, and it is given in 1860 by the Julius von Sakis. The scientist name Julius von Sakis is a German botanist. Okay. So he invented the perfect method of nutrient solution. So thereby came to know the plants can grow in nutrient solution. So they should have the purified water and nutrients also required, and must and should they needed the aerated aerated condition should be provided like this, right? So it is successfully employed by the commercial vegetables such as tomato, seedless cucumber and lettuce. Got it? So it should be done in a optimum temperature. So coming to the essential mineral nutrients. So plants also need nutrients, right? Because of these deficiencies, they got symptoms there by the production of the and the piece of land. If the agriculture land I made a piece of land with with one crop. That if the crop is not given the good yield, which means some other symptoms are there, that is why it is not given. Which means that some of the deficiencies there. That is why not given. So these experiments are made to know about the what of the deficiencies of the plant, why it is not giving the good yield. That will all known by this series of experiments. So the minerals it will take by the plants through roots. The minerals available in the soil in different reasons, in the different having the plants having various of their nutrients. Some those plants which are growing on nucleosides, they found the radioactive strontium also. Some accumulate selenium and gold also. So what is the criteria of essentiality students? So if they are very specific, why they call very specific? If they are in small amounts also, if the small amounts also, if that particular element is not not there, which means the plant is not performing that activity, right, which means the plants cannot set their seeds. They are very specific. So if we are giving that without that element, we are giving another element more also, it will not set it out, right. So the deficiency of one element cannot be replaced by supplying of other essential element. Got it? That is why they are specific. So based on the criteria of essentiality, the quantity of requirements of the plant nutrients were discovered, right. So out of 1 out of 5 essential elements are discovered, but mainly the plants needed the 17 elements for sure, with these 4 elements which are very much required for the plant for their growth and development. For the growth and development, these 17 elements are required. Along with that, along with that, sodium, silicon, cobalt, selenium is also required. So to easily remember for you students, what I said to you. So the process of photosynthesis, right, the plants prepare their own food. So what are the requirement elements of the plants to prepare their own food? That is carbon dioxide, water. In the presence of sunlight, with the help of the chlorophyll pigment, it produces the sweet glucose, right, and liberation of oxygen and release of water molecules also takes place, right. So from the carbon dioxide, it is taking the carbon, hydrogen and oxygen too. So that is why carbon, hydrogen, oxygen are requirement. So these are the coming under the macronutrients. They are more than, they are required in a very large quantities, more than 10 millimole kilogram, per kilogram of dry matter. What is dry matter? If the plants eliminated all of the water content present in that plant, that is called the dry matter. So in that dry matter, they found more than 10 millimole grams of kilograms are present in as the macronutrients. Coming to the micronutrients, they are very less than the 10 millimole kilograms of dry matter, but they are in the small amounts also, they are very much needed. So to remember this macronutrients, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, which are takes by the essentiality of preparing their food materials, right, preparing their food. Carbon dioxide from carbon, hydrogen from water and oxygen with the carbon dioxide, and the element oxygen is also there. So this is the CHO you can remember, right, and NPK, which means the plant's basic requirement is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. You all know that in the piece of land of agriculture, they most supplying of the fertilizers like urea, right. So and also DAP, they will be supplements are given, right. So in that urea is nothing but the nitrogen, and phosphorus, DAP, diammonium phosphorus, right. So which is having the content of potassium, right. So phosphorus and potassium. So NPK is the very much required, and sulfur, magnesium, Cl. Sulfur, where is the sulfur? Okay. Sulfur, magnesium, calcium, these 3 elements are very much required for the structural unit of the cell. So in the cell wall preparation, these are the very much required. Sulfur and calcium are very much required, and mainly the magnesium is the element which are required for the synthesis of chlorophyll, which helps in the synthesis of chlorophyll, right. So I said that chlorophyll, the structure having the porphyrin ring. In that porphyrin, it's a tetrapyrrole. In the central metal atom is the magnesium. If the deficiency of the magnesium occurs, there is no synthesis of chlorophyll. If there is no synthesis of chlorophyll, which means the plant cannot prepare their own food, which cause the disease of chloriosis, which is yellowing of veins. Got it? Now see, this is how we have to remember: CHO and NPK, sulfur, magnesium and calcium. Sulfur, magnesium and calcium. Remember like that. Sulfur and calcium are mainly involved in the structural construction of the cell, and magnesium is the synthesis of chlorophyll, which is very much necessary to prepare their own food for the plants, right? Coming to the micronutrients, I said IMC and BZC, right? Molybdenum, Mn, which means they like see MON, mol. Just remember like this: molybdenum and nickel. IMC, which means iron, manganese, copper. BZC, boron, zinc and chlorine. Molybdenum, MO means molybdenum and means nickel. Mn or MON, just remember as per your convenience, students, but you have to remember all these 17 essential nutrients for your MSET point of view. Now see, apart from these 17 elements, what other required for mainly for the higher plants is sodium, silicon, cobalt, selenium. SQC, which means sodium, silicon, selenium and cobalt, which mainly required for the higher plants. For the higher plants like gymnosperms and angiospermic plants. Gymnosperms and angiospermic plants. Got it, students? This is how we have to remember and analyze the each and everything. Now we discussed this based on this essentiality. There 4 broad categories are defined, as they are the essential elements involved as the components of biomolecules and also components of energy related chemical components, and to activate the inactivate enzymes, and also they can alter the osmotic potential also. So as I explained in the Levitt, K plus proton pump theory, you get to know about the opening of closing of stomata, how exactly is happening. You can go through that class. And also biomolecules, which are mainly composition of organic and inorganic elements, which is the structural unit of life, right? So the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen are requirement. So nitrogen, why it is required, students? It is made up of nucleic acids like DNA, RNA is made up of nitrogenous bases, right? So nothing but the nitrogen is involved in the nucleic acid preparation, right? And the components which are magnesium, as I told before also, it is involved in the synthesis of chlorophyll, and phosphorus in ATP. Phosphorus in ATP, adenosine triphosphate, nothing but it is having the phosphorus group. And coming to the active and inactive enzymes, the divalent of Mg+2, it is mainly involved in the activation of rubisco, the most abundant protein found in the plant. The most abundant protein found in the plant is rubisco. And PEP carboxylase enzyme. So you will get to know about these two enzymes in the photosynthesis in higher plants, students. They are critical enzymes which are useful in the fixation of carbon fixation via photosynthetic path. And coming to the example of JIG, the divalent is activator of alcoholic dehydrogenase, which means the fermentation process, the JIG is very much required. And molybdenum. Molybdenum is one of the main element in the nitrogenase enzyme activation, which is mainly present in the fixation of nitrogen in the plants. So when we are going to study the biological fixation of nitrogen, you will get to know by this. Got it? So these are the main elements. So based on the essentiality of elements, they are categorized into 4 categories by the diverse functions. Got it? Till this we are discussed in the yesterday's session. Let's discuss the today's session. So now, role of macro and micronutrients. What is the role of exactly the role of these macro and micro elements are doing in the plant? right? They include in several functions. As we know, before we see as their essentiality, they are mainly involved in the diverse functions like biomolecules, functions, activation and inactivation of enzymes, everything, right? See, they act in several functions, participates in various metabolic processes, which means the chemical reactions occurs in a particular plant body, plant cells, such as what is the mainly involving for the permeability of the cell membrane. Permeability of the cell membrane, which can easily pass, which helping in that core of these elements, and also maintenance of osmotic concentration of cell sap, and electron transport systems, in the electron transport systems, and buffering actions, which maintains the ionic balances, pH. It is almost it is optimize the temperature by these macro and micronutrients. And the enzyme activity, before only we studied that for the enzyme activity or inactivation, some of the requirement elements are very essential, right? So they act as macromolecules and coenzymes. The acetyl coenzyme A, the acetyl coenzyme A, mainly these coenzyme A, in their chemical structure there is a having of the sulfur group. There is having the sulfur group. So this sulfur group is very essential for the in the glycolysis process. When the pyruvate is converted to the acetyl CoA, right? In their chemical structure is involving the sulfur component in it, which means they are involved in the coenzyme structures also. They are involved in the coenzymes structure also, right? And coming to the phosphorus, it is involved in the nucleic acids. Nucleic acids like DNA and RNA, right? So they are involved in many corner of points. So when many corner of components which are required for the cell, right? For the plants, it is especially like us only. How we are taking the different kinds of minerals, proteins. Some people follow the diet, right? For their requirements, and some they will take the biotin as a component, right? So different minerals we are taking from the plant-based products, plant-based foods, and we are also depending on the other animals too, right? But plants, for it is not like that. They should be found those minerals in the soil only. That is why in the piece of land, if I want the good yield, I will supplying the additional nutrients supply as like by the fertilizers form. So either it is based on the natural fertilizers I am providing, otherwise I am providing the artificial also. For the good yield, I am supplying the main elements nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. So these are the NPK are the very most essential nutrients required for the plants. Now see, deficiency of symptoms. If these elements are not there, these essential. So out of 105 discovered, 1 minute. 105 are discovered the elements in the more than 105 are discovered in the plants essential elements, but in that these 17 elements plus remaining 4 elements are which are very much required for the plant. Why they are required? If the deficiency caused by those elements, which is either the micronutrients or micronutrients. If some of you will think that micronutrients are very less in amount, if they are not there means it's fine. No, not like that. If they are in the very small quantities also, they must and should required for the process of activities in the plants for sure. Now see, deficiency of symptoms. Concentration of essential elements. So if the essential elements concentration below the plant growth, if the requirement of the plant growth, if they are as per the requirement of the plant, they are below in content, below in the quantity, what will happen? That leads to retardation. That lead to retardation, which is meant to reduce the plant growth and development. So it is termed as the critical concentration. It is termed as the critical concentration. The deficiency of symptoms depends on mobility of the elements in plants. What is exactly meant by this statement? Deficiency of symptoms depends on mobility of element in plants. What is meant by mobility? transferring. Okay, so consider this is the plant, this is the old leaf, okay, this is the young leaf. Consider this is the plant, like it is the old leaf, it is having the all the elements, right, like NPK, sulfur, calcium and all that. So it is going to fall off. So before falling off, what these, the elements present in this leaf, so these elements are moving and supplying to this young ones, Not all elements present in it will not transfer. Those will transfer, we call them as mobilized elements. We call it as mobilized elements. Those which are not transferring, those are called immobile elements. Immobile elements. See, suppose this NPK are transferring, which means they are mobilized elements. This is, see, the structural elements like sulfur, calcium, they are not, transferred, which means the young leaf is the deficiency of the sulfur and calcium, and the old leaf gain the deficiency of maybe it is having the deficiency. If these nutrients present in the old leaf, if they are transferring into the young leaf, what will be the deficiency of the old leaf? Nothing but this NPK are the deficiencies, right? Which means they are transferred to the young leaf. But sulfur and calcium, the structural elements are not transferring, right? But here the young leaf doesn't have the structural elements. Yes, no? So it is having a deficiency of sulfur and calcium. But how they are getting the sulfur and calcium for the young leaves? That is the question. So when these leaves fall off, again it decomposes into the soil, and again the nutrients get back into the that particular young leaf by the roots. Got it? Now see, deficiency of symptoms first appeared in old tissues. That is why the deficiency appeared in the first old tissues, which means the old leaf. As of now I said, no, first it is appear in the old leaves, which means it will the mobile elements will be transferred to the young leaves, right, like NPK, magnesium, these all will be traveled to the young leaf. But calcium and sulfur, they are having the deficiency of the system. See, in mobile elements, the young leaf having the calcium and sulfur, it is having the deficiency because the structural elements like sulfur and calcium will not be mobilized elements. They will not mobilize elements, which means they are considered as immobile elements. That is why the young leaf having the deficiency of these structural elements. See, and the deficiencies, mainly we have to remember chlorosis and necrosis. Is it visible? Necrosis and chlorosis. Chlorosis is the loss of chlorophyll. Mainly the element called magnesium. Mainly element called of magnesium. And yellowing of that result in the yellowing of veins. When this magnesium is not deficiency occur, there is no chlorophyll synthesis will be there. There is no chlorophyll synthesis will not occur. When this is chlorophyll synthesis not occur, which means there is no production of photosynthesis. When there is no production of photosynthesis, the food is not prepared in the plant. When this food is not prepared in the plants, the energy, how the plants get energy from the food it is prepared by their own, it will be transported to the all of the parts of the plant, right? So when it is not preparing their own food, if the roots want to absorb the water, it needs energy. So which means when there is no food, there is no energy. So then there is a appear of the deficiency of manganese, molybdenum, nickel, iron, zinc, potassium and also sulfur. So these are all elements get through by the roots, the minerals which mainly get by the plants through roots only. It comes by the energy, right? So how much the capability of the roots can absorb? So it can be happens by the preparation of the food of the plant only. When there is no preparation of the food, so how this energy can be will be there for the plant, right? That is the question. So that is why by appearing of all these elements, there is a yellowing of leaves occur in the plants. Got it? Now see, necrosis, death of the tissue, especially leaf tissue. That it is occurs by the death of the tissue, especially leaf tissues. What are the deficiency, the reason of the elements which causes this death of the tissue? There are calcium, magnesium, copper and potassium. So you have to remember these elements. So I will give you the table also. So now see, 1 minute. Now see, the deficiency, so now the cell division inhibition, which means some if the nutrients are not up to the mark, it will inhibit the cell division also. The cell division will not occur. So like those elements is nitrogen, potassium, sulfur and molybdenum. So cell division, for the cell division the nitrogen is requirement. For to get this nitrogen to the plants, for the especially the leguminous plants require the fixation should be occur, the nitrogen metabolism will be occur. For that nitrogen metabolism, there is activation of the nitrogenase enzyme will be there. We will get to know in the further. So that nitrogenase enzyme activated by this molybdenum. If the molybdenum is not there, how does the nitrogen fixation will be happen? No, right? So cell division, there is no point of cell division there, it will be the inhibition is occurring. If the elements which are not present, in which means the deficiency of these elements. What are those elements, students? That is nitrogen, potassium, sulfur and molybdenum. And delay of flowering. So when the delay of flowering is there is a deficiency of nitrogen, sulfur and also molybdenum. Right? Nitrogen, see, these for the cell division and delaying of flower, the common elements are nitrogen, sulfur and molybdenum. For the cell division inhibition, the extra is potassium only. Got it? Now see, toxicity of micronutrient. So some plants exhibit like, so we know that micronutrients are required very small amounts, right? If they are in excess amount, see, if they are in very small amount, then the up to the mark. So they are, so they required as like, they require 2 points. Maximum it should be 2 points will be there micronutrients, but it will be half. It leads to cause of deficiency of symptoms. The low micronutrient cause deficiency of symptoms. And now if they are excess, if they required only 2 points, they are in the 5 points. Think like that. Which means as per the requirement they are higher in quantities. So which means they cause the toxicity. Which means as per the requirement they should be there in the plant. If they are excess means they cause the toxicity, and if they are cause lower, they cause the deficiency. Any ion in tissues, see, any ion in tissues that lower the dry weight of tissue is 10% toxic. Which means as per the requirement they are very low in number, which means they cause the deficiency. If they are higher in contact, they will be the toxicity. That is what explained in this statement. Now see, any ion in tissues lower the dry weight of tissue, which means see, the macronutrients which are lower than the as per the dry weight, which means there should be excess 10 millimole kg per kilogram. So if they are lower in that content, they cause the 10% toxicity. Now see this, prominent symptom of toxicity, which means the higher level of the micronutrients. If they are having more amount in quantity, what will happen? See, suppose the manganese is the micro element which is having excess in amount. So appear brown spots surrounding by chronic veins. What the deficiency causes in plants? It appears in the brown spots. Surrounding by chronic vein. See, what it will do? This manganese compete with the magnesium and iron macro, this is the macro element and this is the micro element. It is compete the toxicity of the micro element of this manganese compete with the macro element of magnesium and also iron. It leads to uptake of the stopping of the uptake of Mg binding of the enzyme. See, the more amount of manganese, what will do, it will compete with the magnesium and also iron elements. They will not let to bind the, if it is the enzyme, so it is not let to bind the Mg. The manganese will be the compete with and it will stay. So what will happen? There is a deficiency of magnesium and iron. So it inhibits the translocation. It inhibits the translocation in shoot apex. Inhibition of translocation of food in the shoot apex. Translocation is nothing but whatever the food is prepared in the leaves, it will be taken to all different parts of the plant, roots to at various plants. It is the food will be translocated to the different plants. So excess magnesium causes deficiency of excess manganese will cause the deficiency of magnesium and iron and calcium. This is the manganese, students. Excess manganese will cause the deficiency of magnesium, iron and also calcium. So when there is a calcium deficiency, there will be the structural formation of the cell is also got deficient, right? And so this is how the toxicity of the micronutrient will be there, right? Which means they should not be present excess, they should not be present lower than the optimum requirement. Got it? So the best example is the manganese. If the more manganese will be present, it compete with the magnesium and iron, and it will not allow to take the magnesium and iron. It leads to the translocation. It will leads to the inhibition of the translocation of food in the shoot apex. Got it? So this manganese excess causes the deficiency of magnesium, iron and also calcium. Got it? So now see the various forms of function of essential nutrient elements. Essential nutrient elements. So 1 minute, students. So some of the there are there in 1 minute. Okay. So these are the some of main elements we have to definitely we have to focus on your MSET point of view. They will be asking of many questions from these various nutrients. So here the see, nitrogen is the macro element, potassium is the macro element, phosphorus is the macro element, calcium is the macro element, magnesium is also macro element, sulfur is the micro element, iron is a micro element and manganese is also micro element. These are the very four most important you have to know about your examination. Got it? So we will discuss all these micro and macro elements in detail in the next class, students. I will provide you the table also. We will explain in a very clear way in the next session. And we will also, for your IP point of view, students, you have to focus on the biological nitrogen fixation. We will discuss we will discuss in the further classes, and I will explain those questions also for you. It will quite easy for your MSET and also IP point of view. We will solve some questions also. Got it? So this is about the today's session, students. Let's meet in the tomorrow's session. Before I am winding up the class, students, I would like to inform very important news for you, all of you. That is, we are announcing the NEET special program for just ₹3,333 per month. If you are really determined to become a doctor, this is the best platform for you. So we were offering with very much low price of just ₹3,333. You will get live plus recording sessions with well crafted study materials also provided. If you are a hardworking person, if you listen our classes, if you go through the live classes, it's okay. Otherwise, you can go through our recorded sessions also. by the vigorous revision, and also with the recording sessions you listen, if you do the well crafted study material, you far more enough to get good rank in your upcoming examination of NEET and also APSET examination for sure. So it is available both offline mode and also online mode, students. If you want to join online, you can contact by this number, then we will provide you all the information, students. If you want to join offline, you can come to our institute name called NEET World, present in Narayani, Hyderabad. And very important news, don't forget to join in our Telegram group, students. So by scanning this QR code, you are going to access our Telegram channel. So we are providing daily quizzes of biology, chemistry, physics and also mathematics. For any competitive examination, doing the mocks is very important, students. So by doing the mock exams, you will get the very confidence, and it will lead to succeed in your examination. And whatever the live class schedules are there, will freely inform in the Telegram channel, and handwritten notes as digitalized materials will be provided in the Telegram channel. And one most important thing is, if you have any doubts, you can directly post in the Telegram group with concerned faculty, so that faculty clear all your doubts. So if you have any queries, please reach it out by this number. So this is about today's session, students. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you.